Everybody, Sean here at Laurel Ranch. Thanks for checking out this video. So we have a lot of chickens, meat chickens, and it's 60 of them this batch, and our chicken tractor only holds 30 at max. And I did a video the other day on the heat. We've kept them in the barn about a week longer than normal because of the heat that we've had. But the heat's going to drop here Monday in a few days, and so we need to move them out, and I don't have anywhere to put them because I already still have chickens in the other tractor, so we needed to build a tractor. So the last chicken tractor that I built, and I think you guys have seen on videos, was the Skokovich, I can't remember, John Siskovich, I think it is, design. It holds about 30 chickens. It's 6 feet by 10 feet. And so I was interested this time to do the Joel Salatin design chicken tractor. So here it's about 7:30. I started working on this about 5:30, so about 2 hours, and I got this done. I haven't wrapped it yet, but I did not buy Joel Salatin's book, and I do not have his official design. I just looked at pictures and I made it from that, but I'm pretty close, I'm pretty sure. So a couple things with this chicken tractor that goes against my values in where I want to take the farm. One of them is that I made it out of wood, that's what Joel Salatin's done. But I had committed, I'm tired of making things out of wood because everything rots here in Texas, just the sun, it just tears wood apart. But metal is super expensive right now, and I don't know how to weld. So, and we needed it in like 3 days. So
that's par for the course, though. Not
that not knowing how to weld would stop me. It was more the price of the metal, right? But anyways, so I built it out of lumber, and so here it is, the frame. It's 10 by 10, so it's 100 square feet, so a little bigger than our other one. It should hold 50 meat chickens. And so just a couple things on what I did here. So this is all 2x4s and 2x2s. So the 2x4s are all 10 foot, and so I just took the 10-foot 2x4s and I made a square frame on the bottom. I put 2x2s on the corners, so that then I could attach the top frame, which is again just 10-foot 2x4s. I made these 2x2s, the height of this, I made it 27 inches. And the reason is the back part of this is going to be metal. And so the sheet metal we have is 27 inches wide. So that way it's not sticking up on the top, it's not sticking on the bottom, and I don't have to cut it because I hate cutting metal. And so I'm going to put that on there, and then still it's 27 from top to bottom, but from inside to inside it's 27 minus 7, so it's 20 inches. So still I can use 24-inch chicken wire on the exposed part. So I'm going to put metal along half of this side, the whole back, half of that side, then chicken wire across the other piece, and then a metal roof on top, and then probably just chicken wire on top of the lid. So a couple things that I did here. All of the bracing you can see is 2x2s. Tried to make a diamond out of the top. I don't know if there's anything to that. It's just what the pictures looked like, and it looked prettier. You can see right here on the lid, so this is the lid. This is a 2x4 instead of a 2x2. And you're probably wondering why, probably for extra strength, things like that. I ran out of 2x2s. And I had an extra 2x4. So I could have taken this and got out the table saw and ripped it down so it would be a 2x2, but that just seemed like a lot of work, and I don't want to do that. So I just use a 2x4. Also too, you can see on like the back, these angle braces go all the way from the corner to the middle. I ran short on 2x2s, so I used scrap ones here. So they're just fine. The bracing is going to be just fine. It's going to protect against, you know, the angles and the forces. It just doesn't go from corner to corner. No big deal. But also one thing that I did not see is it looked like on top, there's all this bracing for, you know, to keep it from shifting and everything, but there wasn't on the bottom of the pictures I looked at. So in the corners on the bottom, I went ahead and used some of the scrap 2x2s I had, cut 45-degree angles and screwed those in on the bottom just to help with the shifting forces. I don't know what it is. Anyways, I'm an electrical engineer. So then also on the lid, just because, I don't know, I had these angle brackets here. So I put these metal angle brackets in just to make it a little bit more secure. And then, you know, on the hinge on the back, could be whatever. I found this piano hinge in the garage that I hadn't opened. I have no idea why I had it, but came in handy. So, so this lid right here is how we'll get the chickens in and out. So I used a couple, if you want to look in here, James. So I just used some extra 2x2s to screw into a couple areas around to hold the lid flush, so that when you put it down, it goes in and it's flush with the top and the rest of it. And then I'll probably just get a board or something that we can stick in right there to hold it open when we're loading chickens and stuff like that. Like, I was actually just thinking about putting one in just with one screw, so it's kind of on a hinge, so it'll just be right there and hold this open while we're putting chickens in and out. So I might do that as well. But so that's the base design. So the only other thing is just to put the chicken wire on the outside. I think I'm going to do a roof on that section, and this section, and just leave this roof chicken wire. Just because of Texas and the heat and the sun, they need lots of area of shade. And then the front half, this will all be chicken wire because they need lots of ventilation. But I do want to keep some on the back because we do have chickens over the winter and they need to be protected from the wind when it does get cold. So that way it'll work in all situations. One piece of advice on the 2x2s, anywhere that I screwed in the 2x2s, I did drill pilot holes. So I used, this whole thing was built with deck screws, 3-inch deck screws, T25 head, Torx bit, and that's how I built the whole thing. I could have probably done shorter screws. I noticed on a couple of them that there's a couple spots where they're poking through. I'll probably just take an angle grinder and cut it off. It's not going to matter too much. I did them coming through this way so they're not poking to the inside where the chickens are, because whenever I do chicken wire, I staple on the chicken wire and then I put a 1x4 over the top to sandwich it in, and I found that helps to keep predators from pulling it off. But if there is any poking out, I'll take it in your grinder and take them off. So I maybe could have done a little shorter screws. Usually 3-inch screws are good when you're using 2x4s and 2x4s. These 2x2s are not exactly 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So I think that's why a couple of them are poking through. But definitely when you're putting the screws through these, especially when you're closer to the edge, drill pilot holes, or else your 2x2s are going to split. So you definitely want to drill. So I drilled 1/8 of an inch pilot holes anywhere that I had a 2x2 before I put a screw through them, and that kept my lumber from splitting. So that's it for tonight. I'm done for tonight. So I will finish up and do an add-on to this video when we put the roof on and we put the sides on and the chicken wire. And then my wife did ask me how I was going to move it. I realized that I've built everything at the barn where the animals are. But this time I was like, I want to do it down here where I'm close to the house or anything. And then realized that I don't know how I'm going to get this to the barn. So that'll probably be part of the video too. I'll jimmy rig something with the tractor. We'll make it happen. It'll work. So that, and then from what I've seen, and we'll try this out once I put it together, but Jamie also asked me, how do you move it? And so what I've seen is they use just a hand truck.
Or a dolly.
Put it under the front, right? Lean it back so it's on the wheels and just pull it. So that's what I'm going to try, because that's what I've seen people do. And I have a hand truck.
Or a dolly.
So
I'd be interested to know how many people call it a hand truck and how many people call it a dolly.
only cool people call it a hand truck.
Interesting theory.
Okay, so as soon as this video switches in 2 seconds, it'll be done. All right, so one of the things I was unsure about was how I was gonna move this thing from the house out to the pasture. So show you what I did. I just put an eye bolt here in the front and hooked a crank strap up to the grill guard on the front of the tractor, and then have the pallet forks under the back side here. So this is the heavy side with all the metal on it, and so that's where I had on the back. So that's sitting on the pallet forks, and then have the crank strap on top to kind of keep it level. And that actually works. Put the pallet forks underneath and then just cranked the strap till the front of it pulled up, and that worked. I was able to get it off the ground enough to move it. So I'm gonna move it on out to the pasture right here. Okay, so here is the completed chicken tractor out here in the field. So I've got metal on the top, back of it, and then around the back sides, and that's just to give them a place to get out of the wind, storms, rain, that kind of stuff. But then the front half is all chicken wire. So you can see I've got the chicken wire on there. I stapled it on, but then I put a piece of 1x4 over the top with screws to really sandwich that together and hold that on. Did that on the top as well, wherever the chicken wire is. So it should be nice and strong and sturdy. It was, you know, a challenge getting it out here because it is large, but we made it work. I'll have a feeder that we'll use, and then this section is a lid that we can open up to get in here. That's the waterer I'm going with. I don't have the nipples in there yet. There's one in the very back. You can't see it because of shadows. But I got this PVC pipe with a port on the end. I'll use a black hose up to a 5-gallon bucket that'll put water down there, and then I'll have those little chicken nipple waterers that they can use. I think that'll work really well. And it's a similar type of setup that I've used with like the rabbits before. So I know that 5-gallon bucket with the hose, that it'll work. So, and then we've got the hand truck over here to move it. I did find out you got to have it on the side with the metal. I tried moving it with it on the other side, and it's too heavy, or too, it doesn't move very well. So you got to put the hand truck on the heavy side and move it that way. So just lift it up and then pull it this way. So when we got our next set of broilers ready to come out here, we'll load them up. This will be their home. It should hold about 50, it's 100 square feet, so about 50 chickens. That gives each of them 2 square feet. And we'll move it every day so they get fresh grass. When we have grass, right now everything is dead because of the drought that we are in. But anyways, all right, so that's it on the new chicken tractor.